Hi everybody, it's Marie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is for my creative scrapbook using their March main kit, which is full of Pinkfresh Studio Spring Vibes collection. So as you can see, I've already backed that cut file there, Living My Best Life from Pear Tree Cut Files. It's available to subscribers of the creative scrapbook kits. I've already backed that with vellum. I'm enjoying backing cut files at the moment with vellum. Lots have been done like that. I think it just gives a lovely soft look. And whilst you've still got the prominence of the cut file on there, it's not as quite in your face, it's just a softer look to it. I've taken that piece of green cardstock which comes as part of the kit and used just a corner of it, done a big tear down to have a corner focus. And then I'm using the stencil that comes with the kit to add some green patterned areas underneath the cut file and underneath where the photos are going to go. So I design Pear Tree cut files, and when I design my cut files, I always try and make sure that there's space for the photographs to go. So my idea here is that my photographs sit just there, as you can see, sort of at the end of Best Life. So just playing around with the positioning of that stencil, making sure there's little pops of colour that pop out from behind the cut file, the torn piece of paper, and behind the photos. And I'm using 3 separate colours of Distress Oxides. I think I've got Rustic Wilderness, I think there's Mowed Lawn, and I think the other one is Peeled Paint. So just a variety of different greens. There's lots of greens in my photograph. It's my son when we were on holiday in summer 22, and we went up to Scotland and spent some time near Fort William. Oh, it's such a beautiful part in the country, and we just happened to be travelling along, and we decided to stop and have a look over at the loch that we were driving past. And just as we sort of stopped, the wind died down and there was just the perfect reflection of the mountains into the loch. It was just stunning. So yeah, lots of photographs of that moment taken. So the cut file here, Living My Best Life, just seemed to fit beautifully. We were just taking every opportunity we could to enjoy what was around us. I'd happily move up there in an instant. I think it's a beautiful part of the country. I've decided here just to use a small blending brush to colour in the words my and life. I did start with sort of a camouflage idea of all different shades of green, and in the end I didn't like it. It wasn't quite working, so I've gone mainly with Mowed Lawn and Rustic Wilderness and just sort of blended those 2 colours together to give the colour to those words. Careful not to get too much of the colour on the rest of the cut file itself. And then, so I've gone really with the Mowed Lawn at the top and the Rustic Wilderness at the bottom. And just holding it in place while I kind of smush more colour on there. Just to do last couple of bits. This is a very quick and easy way to add colour to a cut file without having to add colour to the whole thing. I'm now just going to take some more Mowed Lawn just to really blend those 2 colours together, because there seemed to be a bit of a line in the middle where I'd started one and stopped the other. So just using another colour over the top to help kind of mush it together a little bit. So clean my desk up, and now on to sticking down my piece of paper at the side. I'm going to use some foam dots down the edge to give a bit of dimension, and then the rest of it will just be stuck down with standard double-sided sticky tape. I have a little bin off to the side on my desk, so I can always pop all my little bits out of the way, and I don't end up having to clean them all up off the floor when they've got stuck to my sleeves and things. So just curling that edge back a little bit and then playing with the placement. I like to use all of a kit, so these are the pieces of card that come with the ephemera. So in this kit there's an ephemera pack and then there's a little titles pack, and they both came with cardstock in the pack, and the cardstock had grey lines on it, so I've used that actually to back my photographs. I didn't need masses behind them. I didn't want loads and loads of layers behind the photos, but just one is really nice. So I cut round, I don't stick them down, I cut round them, distress the edges, and then when I do stick them down, I always do so just a little bit wonky. I like a wonky edge. So just playing again with the positioning, sticking the 2 photographs together with a small piece of double-sided sticky, and then I'm going to put adhesive foam on the back of each so that they've got a bit of dimension to them, and then double-sided sticky on the back of those and popping those on. So the cut file isn't actually stuck down yet. but that's okay because I'm going to do that in a little while. And I'm going to start now by popping some little dots and some little foam strips on the back of the letters. Now I know which ones are overlapping onto the photographs. I know which ones are overlapping the edge of that green that I've already put the foam under. So I'm careful not to put any more foam under those particular parts and just put the foam under the parts, the sides of that, so that it's kind of all ends up being like a uniform height, if that makes sense. Oh, you also saw me after I'd just finished faffing with the stencil that I also put some splatters all over, and they just add an extra layer of texture as well. So I'm actually going to tuck the white of my underneath. I want to see the photograph. I know what it says. I know it says living my best life. I know you can't see the white. It doesn't matter. You can still see it. I also love that word beautiful. That's from the titles pack. So I just pop that. So it kind of reads living my best beautiful life. But you could just read beautiful on its own as well, because it really was. It was stunning. Now I'm going to go through. I've already picked out some of the greener ephemera pieces. So I'm going to go through and start tucking some of those in and around on my page and playing about with the placement of everything really, and just enjoying seeing what works. This is my favourite part. I love doing this bit. Now I do decide, because some of the ephemera has got some yellow on, there isn't a great deal of yellow in my photographs. They really are mainly green and a bit of blue. But I thought the yellow just gave a lovely extra pop of colour to the page. I decided to pop a few of those yellowy flowers and not worry too much that there's those extra colours on there. I am very much the kind of person that scraps with one colour at a time, but trying to push my boundaries a little bit to try and get me to just do a bit more than that. So I've decided to add a few more of these title pieces in. So the one at the top is about a daydream, and I've also found one that says memories. That's gone under beautiful, and then there's today as well. So just now I'm having a look at the cardstock stickers and sticking a few more yellow bits and pieces on there as well, just so that there's those little teeny, so the main colour is obviously green, but just a few pops of colour on the page. It's not all just green. Happy with how that's looking so far. And it's come together really quite quickly. Just a little bit of stenciling in the background, small piece of cardstock, a cut file, and a couple of photographs. Here comes my glue gel, which I use to add dimension behind pieces of ephemera, because you can move them around quite easily with the glue gel on the back. It's quite slow drying, so you can still manipulate it and have the dimension where you want. Or you can put just the very thinnest layer on and then have no dimension at all, which I've done for a couple of the pieces. And I'm really happy with how that's looking. There are a couple of things that I do off camera. I do add some Nuvo drops because I completely forget to do that on camera. I always forget about my Nuvo drops, but I do remember to add some of my white splatters. And that's about it for this layout. If you stay tuned, you'll see lots of close-ups heading your way, so you can see all the details and you can see the Nuvo drops. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Thank you ever so much for watching today. If you're not already a subscriber of my channel, please consider subscribing. It means the world to me. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That also means a great deal. Thanks ever so much for watching, and keep a lookout for more videos coming your way using the March main kit from my creative scrapbook. Bye for now. See you again soon.